Say hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sophie and I am a mum to a 2-year-old little boy, and I am currently 28 weeks pregnant with my second, due in August. In the lead up to getting prepared for my second baby and the birth, the labour and post-labour, things like that, I have already got lots of things in to help me with my recovery. They're all things that I used with my last birth and found really useful, so I thought I would put them all together in a video and show you, and hopefully help some of you guys, and some of you find some of these things useful. Some of them are very obvious, and there's a few things in here that might not be that obvious, but regardless, I hope you take something away from it. Just a bit of history with regards to my last birth. I had a natural vaginal delivery with 1 second-degree tear and an episiotomy, so I had some stitches as well. So these things are based on a vaginal delivery with stitches, because that's what I had, that was my experience. So I've kind of got everything else in again, expecting the same, just in case that happens. Most of these things are useful whether you have a cesarean or vaginal delivery, but this is specifically based on my experience previously. So I have a list of about 10 things to talk you through, so I'm just going to jump right in and get on with the first one. So the first thing I have on my list is full pads or Padicles. Something that I found a massive relief last time. After you have a baby, obviously you can become quite swollen and sore, and I found sitting on the sofa with one of these gently pressed between my legs really relieved a lot of the discomfort that I was experiencing after having a baby. Obviously these ones I think I got from Amazon in a pack of 2. I'll link them down below, and they come with this small sleeve that you can slide it into so it's not directly touching your skin. And this time around I've also made some Padicles. You might have seen these DIYs on YouTube. I certainly did, and decided to make some for myself. Essentially all they are is large or nighttime sanitary pads that I have opened up and put some Aloe Vera Gel inside, and also some witch hazel. The gel obviously will freeze and become really cool, and it'll be really soothing on your sore area. And then the witch hazel that I've put in here not only helps fight against infection, but it also helps heal cuts and bruises, which is essentially what you're going to be dealing with down there. And it also helps with inflammation, so all the good stuff that you're going to want to help heal and recover after you've had a baby. I made a quick clip of myself making these, and I'll insert that at the end of the video, so if you want to know how I did them, stay tuned to the end and that will be in here. I made about 10 and I popped them in a big freezer bag, and they're in the freezer ready and waiting to go as and when I need them. You could also put some essential oils in there as well, such as lavender or chamomile. They both help with calming and soothing, so if you wanted to you could add a few drops in there as well. So the second thing on my list is maybe a bit unusual, I'm not sure, but it was really useful first time round, and that is a donut ring or a hemorrhoid ring, depending, some people call it different things. It's essentially an inflatable donut that you sit on to help ease sitting down. I found this really useful last time. As I mentioned, I had stitches, so it was quite uncomfortable to sit down or to get comfortable anywhere really, but I found that after blowing this up, not all the way either, I didn't completely blow it up so that it was solid, but just enough to provide a bit of a barrier between whatever I was sitting on and myself, and it made sitting down so much easier anywhere. I basically took it everywhere with me, in the car, if we visited friends or family's house, and it just helped for those first few days when it is quite, you know, you sit down slowly and you get up slowly because you do hurt a lot. So I recommend picking one up. They're only a couple of pounds. I got mine on Amazon pretty much along with most of this stuff, but I'll link everything down below. if you're interested in one of those. So the third thing on my list, it's more of a category I guess, but that is pads. So obviously the obvious ones are maternity towels. After you have a baby you do bleed a lot, so you will need to get yourself some maternity towels or some evening sanitary towels, or just the really thick ones, because you will bleed quite a lot. I've got like half a pack there because the other half are in my hospital bag ready to go. I found that I probably only used those ones for a week to 2 weeks, and then I could slowly go down to normal sanitary, the thinner sanitary towels, but you're going to need some of those regardless of what birth you have. You're going to bleed. Along the same lines, I recommend, it's a bit of a strange one possibly, these bed mats. Essentially it's basically like a giant sanitary pad that you can put on your bed or a chair or anywhere that you want to protect basically. I found that laying one of these on my sofa whilst using one of the cool packs, just really handy. So obviously strip down from the waist down, sit on the sofa, just open your legs, let everything air out, and having one of those mats underneath just means that anything that you do leak, it's not going to go into your sofas or your bed or any of your upholstery, because you've got it protected. They're also really useful if you plan on having a home birth for the same reason. And then finally in the pad category is breast pads. For obvious reasons, whether you choose to breastfeed or not, you're going to need some breast pads to help with your milk coming in on your colostrum and that leaking. I actually prefer these Tesco's ones because they come just on their own, not individually wrapped. Last time I think I had some of the other Tesco's ones, they do slimmer versions, and they came individually wrapped, which I just found a bit of a faff, if I'm being honest. Like, when I want to go to bed, just pop 2 new ones in. I don't want to have to unwrap them individually and then deal with that faff afterwards. So I like these Tesco's ones because they come in just a big box as they are, no added faff. But that is something else you're going to want to have in as well. So number 4 is water, in 2 ways really. The first way is when you go for a wee, or your first wee after you've had a baby, everything's quite sore and it can sting quite a bit, and I was recommended by my midwives to pour some water, just some tepid water, over yourself while you wee, just to help dilute it and it not feel as stingy as it would just on its own. You could also use a old water bottle with the spout, so you can kind of squeeze it onto yourself, but it really does help. So I recommend having a jug or a water bottle in your bathroom ready for when you do need to go. I would say only for the first couple of days does it sting, and then it gets a lot better, but for those first few days it's really useful. On the same hand as water, salt baths are recommended for healing sometimes. If you have stitches, it's not recommended that you spend a very long time in the bath because it can dissolve the stitches. However, a shallow, warm Epsom salt bath can really help. The salt actually is a natural antiseptic and holds antibacterial properties, so it's going to help with preventing infection and just helping clean down there without having to be too vigorous, essentially. Also, after a bath or even going to the toilet, what I recommend is not necessarily using toilet roll and wiping too harshly, but having a nice soft fluffy towel around that you can kind of just pat yourself dry with. Some people recommend using a hairdryer on a cool setting, but midwives don't really recommend that. Again, if you have stitches, it can damage them or just be a bit of a problem. So a big soft fluffy towel, preferably black, and just gently pat yourself dry, I found a lot more comfortable than using toilet paper. Number 5 on my list could be quite obvious, but it is painkillers or ibuprofen. these obviously help with inflammation and swelling, so for down there it's going to be really helpful. If you're in a lot of pain or discomfort, having a couple of paracetamol, ibuprofen, just to take the edge off is absolutely fine. Number 6 in my list is possibly another obvious one, but I'm going to put it in here, and that is comfy clothing. So I lived in these kind of harem style trousers with the really stretchy waistbands and the really loose leggings after my first baby. They were really comfortable, they allowed a lot of room for all of those maternity pads that you're going to be wearing and those large knickers and such, but they were easy to throw on and still feel dressed, I guess. I still felt put together. These ones I have here in black, but I have some in floral patterns and some other patterns that I was happy to leave the house in as well. But these, along with kind of like baggy t-shirts or vest tops and things like that, I basically lived in for about 2 weeks. Obviously take into consideration the weather when you plan to have your baby. My last baby and this baby are summer babies, so those really loose cotton harem style pants weren't too hot, and I felt secure in them and comfortable, which I think is important. So number 7 on my list isn't necessarily a physical thing to show you, because it is sleep. Now I know you're going to think I'm crazy, I know you've just had a newborn baby, and whether, you know, how much sleep you're getting is probably limited to before, but sleep is really good for your body when it comes to healing and recovering. When you fall asleep, your body restores and repairs itself, which is exactly what you want after you've had a baby and you're sore and swollen and bruised and potentially cut or you tore, or if you've had a cesarean, even more important, because you've obviously got a large scar. So sleeping is really effective for your recovery. Also, when you sleep, your body releases a hormone that helps repair cells and cell growth. So again, it's only going to help you. The more you can sleep, even if it's a 20-minute power nap when the baby's sleeping, or, you know, a couple of hours where someone comes and takes the baby or just watches over while you can get some good sleep in, you're going to feel better for it, and that's what we want. So number 8 on my list is water. Drinking lots of water not only makes you feel better generally, but it boosts your immunity and relieves fatigue and gives you more energy, which is all of the things that we're going to want after you've just had a baby. If you're breastfeeding, even more so, because you're going to want to stay hydrated as much as possible. I find that drinking out of a bottle that I enjoy drinking from encourages me to drink more, which sounds really silly, but I know I'm not the only one out there like that. This bottle I actually have 2 of, and I got from Mataland for about £4, and it's one of those ones that counts you down through the day to keep you on track, and essentially I can get through 2 or 3 of these, which is my daily recommended amount of water intake. But the more water you can drink is only going to make you feel better. So okay, so along the same lines as that, I guess, is not another physical thing that isn't something that I can show you physically, but it is meal prep and snacks. I found that prepping a few comforting dinners or batch cooking them before I had my last baby and then throwing them in the freezer meant that when we couldn't be bothered or we didn't have the time to stand and cook a whole meal, there was always something nutritious and yummy and comforting waiting for us in the freezer that we can just pull out, bang in the microwave for a couple of minutes and have a hot, yummy meal. Along the same lines, I'd say get in loads of snacks that are both nutritious and yummy. A couple of, you know, yummy snacks for you. You've just had a baby. Eat a king-size Galaxy bar if you want to eat a king-size Galaxy bar. I mean, I definitely did, so But having things that you can grab quickly is also really handy, because funnily enough, the last thing you think of is yourself when it comes to eating and drinking. So when you do find yourself quite a bit peckish and you maybe don't have time or can't be bothered to eat anything too heavy or big, grab a banana or an apple, or I really like the Go Ahead biscuit bar type things. Just something quick that you can grab and eat and get something in you to keep your energy levels up is going to benefit you. So number 10 on my list, and the last thing I have here, is a belly bandit. I got this after my first birth and it was amazing. I think I watched Anna Zacconi-Jolie's video where she had got one and she raved about it, and I was very kind of, oh, do I, don't I, because it was about £70, so it's quite expensive, and I was thinking, do I invest that much money in something that I'm not sure about? But I had a £50 Mothercare voucher that I'd gotten from my baby shower, so I put that towards it and I made the plunge and I got one, and I was so happy that I did. Not only does it help you like shrink back your belly and your waist and your hips, but for me, and the reason that I really enjoyed it, was it offered a lot of support on my back and on my legs, and on my core muscles, and helping them kind of get back together again. But after I had a baby, every time I kind of bent down or leant forwards, my stomach just felt very wobbly and loose and unsecure, and it didn't really feel very comfortable, to be honest. But wearing this helped kind of suck everything in, make me feel secure and supported just going about the day. I also wore my son in a sling and a carrier, which can be, depending on how long you carry them around for, it can be quite straining on your back. So wearing this at the same time really helped. They are quite expensive. I know you can get them in Mothercare at the moment for about £55. As I said, I paid £70 for this, but I mean, essentially all it is a long strip with some Velcro strapping on it, that you just wrap round and tie securely. But I would buy it again if I had to. If for any reason I needed another one, I would make the investment, because I think they're really useful. But that is it, actually. I'll link everything that I can down below, especially for like the belly bandit and the donut ring and things like that. Everything else you can pretty much buy anywhere, I guess. If you are interested in how to make the Padicles, I'll insert a clip of that in a minute so you can watch that and make some of those for yourself if you would like. If you liked this video, give it a comment, a like. If you want to stick around, please subscribe. I plan on uploading more motherhood or lifestyle and baby/pregnancy related videos, and I look forward to having you. So until next time, guys, see ya! Here I am, just with some normal everyday kitchen cling film. The pads that I bought are actually Stay Dry pads, I believe they are. They're basically like incontinence pads that I got from Boots, and they come with this fabric kind of bit on the outside which you can't really re-wrap the pads in, so I'm going to re-wrap them in cling film. So here I am, just laying it out flat and taking some aloe vera gel and squeezing it on top. I use about a tablespoon. I would say make sure your aloe vera gel doesn't contain any alcohol, because it's not what you want on that sore area. And I'm just spreading it out with a spoon, centralising it on the pad. I then take some witch hazel. As you can tell, I got this from Boots. It was literally like £2 or something. And I take about another tablespoon and pour it over the gel. I would say do it after the gel so it doesn't get completely absorbed by the pad. And I haven't added any in these pads, but if you wanted to add an essential oil like lavender or chamomile, I would do that then as well, just a few drops. So here I am, just wrapping it up in the cling film, and there it is, ready for the freezer. Here are a few more that I've done, and I've got a few more to do, but it's literally as simple as that.